Today I just want to share a quick tip on how to save a ton of space when you're filming on your Sony mirrorless, or more specifically, my camera is a ZVE1. That's what I use, so that's what I do it on. It probably works for all other Sony cameras, but you can save a ton of space if you're planning on having a large trip coming up and you're doing a bunch of filming or vlogging, or you just film a lot and you need more space and you need like a space saving feature. There actually is one with the Sony cameras. What you can do is you can set the camera setting to record in a different file type that's more efficient in saving space than the typical one. The typical standard one that it normally saves in is H.265. H.265 is the most compatible format there is. It works on all PC computers, and of course it obviously works on all Mac computers. If you're looking for compatibility, there's no reason to go for PC. This is just really off the rails talk, but Mac is just way better in terms of compatibility these days. Didn't used to be like that, now it is. But here's the thing, Mac is super compatible. PC is compatible, but you need a plugin or not driver, it's a plugin to allow it to be able to access and use and read H.265. But Mac, it's built in because H.265 for Mac is kind of like the default, almost like the standard that they record in now. All iPhones record in H.265 to save space. Obviously HDR data is all recorded in iPhones, but the standard on cameras is still H.264. But here's the thing, Sony cameras, you can change it. You can change it to H.265. This will save a ton of space when you're filming. It all adds up. But here's the really cool part, is that you don't have to give up any slow motion that you might want to do, because the H.265 setting is only available in 50 frames per second or 100 frames per second. And this is from the PAL perspective, but in the US it's probably available in 60 frames per second and 120 frames per second. That is super cool because you can always... Sorry, bug just went in my face. You can permanently record in 50 or 60 frames per second continuously and save more space than if you filmed in only 24 or 25 frames per second. There's a lot of frames here we're talking about. If you only recorded in 24 or 25 frames per second, you actually record in a higher file size. The file size is actually bigger in H.264 than it is with 50 or 60 frames of all that data in H.265. So you get continuously that, you save a lot more space, and obviously you can drop from 60 frames to 24 frames, but with 24 you can't really go up. So in this sense, you're always being able to get slow motion if you need it. It's always there ready. You don't have to think about changing your file type or your frame rate at all. You can just do it in post. It's amazing. And you wouldn't think it, but H.265 is so good at saving space that you actually get to record so much more on the higher file sizes and the higher frame rates, and you lose nothing. It's all in 4:2:10-bit. I don't know why I was ever recording H.264 on 25 frames per second. I thought it was cool to do 25 frames, like pure 25 frames, but it's not. Just do 50 frames, drop it halfway in a 25 frames timeline, or if you're doing 60 frames, you can drop that in a 24 frames timeline, and you'll get a 24 frames video, because obviously it'll cut out all the frames that you don't want for a 24 frames timeline. It'll just fit it in there. But you can also then slow it down, slow motion. Really cool. Videos kind of become a rant, but I just wanted to convey that you can save a lot of space by doing this, and you can become president if you do this type of thing. So right now I am basically doing this vlog style down at the park across from my house. And look, in this moment I'm gonna assume that my audience is smart. Just like all my favorite TV shows and movies, they assume that the audience that you have is smart. That's what I'm doing. That's what I try to always do. So what that translates to is me not showing you exactly how to change your file type. If you really need help on that, let me know. I can show you how to do that, but it's very simple, and you would have seen in your camera settings if you're a filmmaker of any kind, content creator of any kind. it's very easy to change your file type and your frame rate. You would have seen that. It's very easy in the new Sony camera settings system. It's really cool. It's really good, really easy, much more easier to navigate than the old one. Main purpose of this is to help anyone who is going to be vlogging for a long period of time, filming for a long period of time. I think I maybe mentioned that in the beginning. I hope this video helps you with that, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.